Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of the Peralta's Played podcast. I'm excited. We're back. It's been a little bit since the last episode, obviously a month. That's the name of the game, so to speak. We're going to come back every month and discuss what I've been doing in the month, what gaming's been doing in the month, and yeah, really excited to get back into this. I really enjoyed the last time we did this, and I hope you guys did too. Obviously, this is still very much a work in progress as a piece of content that I do, so please understand that. Please be aware of that. Give any feedback you have, and otherwise, yeah, just we're here to have a little bit of fun, look back at the month, look forward to what's coming next, you know, with trailers and stuff, and that's going to be a big thing this episode. So we had Summer Games Fest, etc. just gone, start of the month, and there was a lot of trailers to discuss there. So I have a list. I will pull that from my Discord at the time, but there's so much to discuss trailers wise that basically that's going to take up the most of the segment thereafter, me looking through my stuff that I've been doing this month. We're going to be like talking about so many different things. We'll watch so many different trailers today, so that is the aim of the game, so to speak, today. So looking through the past month, there's some games that we've played prior, there's some new games that we've started as well, and I'm just going to quickly ease us out on the music. There we go. Okay, so this, because we're going to be watching these, we're going to be having a look at these. So, 1 second. Hold up, because everything's going awry. Not actually, but it is. Okay, right. So, lots of things happened last month, gaming-wise. One being, and the first one, so Prince of Persia I played before. I've talked about Prince of Persia previously, so we're not going to go into that, but we are going to go into June. So, oh, yeah, that's great. Okay, cool. Right, June. Now, let's just hop ahead a little bit here. And
I can't. Nope,
let me just lower the volume a little bit. So, June came out earlier this month, pretty much the start of the month, I believe. And was it? Oh, it was the end of last month. Either way, it was really fun. It's a really fun game. It's got a lot of like survival aspects because it is a survival game. But just running across the desert, trying to find your way. Let me try and find some actual like gameplay. Here, this will do. Should be about here, yeah. So, you're kind of going across the desert, surviving, finding resources, doing your thing, and I found it fascinating. It was so cool to like travel Arrakis, you know, and you're kind of let free. Like, but there is a main quest as well, which I think. There we go. There's Shai Hulud, which I was going to get to in a minute, but there we go right now. And yeah, I really just enjoyed the idea of being able to live in this world that I've been reading about for a few years now. I did get into it with the Dune movies and then the books, but it's a world that I've come to find really fascinating, the way they've kind of took the sci-fi genre, but the way its take on the sci-fi genre and the fact that it kind of helped create the sci-fi genre as we know it. A lot of what you see here is essentially what Tatooine will become in Star Wars and stuff like that. So it's really cool to see. And what I like even more is that the game mechanics of this game so heavily rely on the lore of the world. You know, you get sunstroke, you're dealing with the sandworms, you have to cross the desert safely. You know, there's not much technology, you know. you get still suits where you can regulate your water, obviously here in the left hand corner. So really fun, and it's not just me who's saying this as well. This game is doing really well. This game is just like I think it's like Claire Obscure has Game of the Year, but I think if there was to be like kind of like multiplayer Game of the Year, I think it might be this for me so far. And like, not, you know, the year's not out yet, so I can't like say that for certainty. But for me, so far, I think this might be my multiplayer Game of the Year, and I would definitely give it that title. A lot of people are loving it. You know, the Steam player counts are still pretty high up there. Me and Tater have been really enjoying it. Tater's, of course, been playing this with me, as you guys can see over here. And we're going to be playing more of it, I'm pretty sure. Not long. Probably tomorrow, even. So, like, there's more to come. Definitely keep an eye out if you're interested in the Dune universe. Even if you're not interested in this type of game, there's, of course, the Dune universe to enjoy there. I do also have Dune Spice Wars in my library that I need to play at some point. So that might come to the channel as well, because I'm feeling I'm a Dune head currently. I'm a Dune head currently. But yeah, so we have done, let me go back. We have done about, let me look at the playlist. Dune. So here, we've got 9 episodes so far. So plenty of watching there for Dune. That's actually the playlist the wrong way around, so I'll have to change that. But yeah, 9 episodes, and obviously the character creator when up first was shown. But yeah, love every minute of it so far. It's frustrating at points, don't get me wrong, but that's the point of a survival game. You're meant to be frustrated a little bit. So definitely would recommend playing that. So that was Dune. Now, Rivals, we're going to kind of leave out of the picture this time because Season 3 is coming soon. But I will say that with Season 3 coming, I've kind of rounded up the guys. Ajax, probably. Nate, definitely. And Tater. Maybe some others as well. And we're probably going to be discussing the patch, like the news about the patch this coming weekend. So like not this weekend, the weekend like coming. I think I actually made that very clear the first time around, so I don't know why I said it again. So keep an eye out for that video. We'll be discussing the rumors about Jean Grey. We'll be discussing Blade, probably, all that type of stuff. So look out for that. Obviously new team ups, new maps, new story. So I want to kind of get into that next week, so I'll leave Rivals alone for this week, but keep an eye out for it. So there we have those, and then we're on to Zelda, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So there's a story behind this one. When I started doing 1 second, because the music's still playing, it's just not paused. Okay, there we go. When I started doing late to the party, one of the first episodes was Breath of the Wild, and I was already late to it then because I was starting that in 2023, late to the party, I believe. And long story short, basically I didn't get very far in the game, but that wasn't the first time I played it. So I failed twice of finishing Breath of the Wild, and so I finally said, well, Lynch, a friend of the channel, you could probably saw him in last month's episode of Peralta's Played, actually. Lynch had said that he wanted me to play it. In fact, he redeemed the channel points for it. So we did. And I've got to be honest, I actually did enjoy getting back into it. What I'll do is I'll show you guys a little bit of it because I think it's important to see, because this is actually really cool. So this was us playing 2 years later, still haven't finished Breath of the Wild. And very, very straightforward video. Quite fun, actually, but nothing insane in this one, if I'm being completely honest. But what I do find insane, and it's going to come on to the Switch 2, which we're going to kind of loop back around to, but I'll jump ahead a little bit because it's part of the same conversation here, and that is... Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Late to the Party. Today we are playing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Yeah, so if you want a 2 version... Sorry, you're listening to me here. Okay, right. So here we go with the Switch 2 version of the game. Let's get that up to 1080p there. Yeah, and the game just looks so amazing. Like, I love how like the graphics upgrade, should I say, is stunning to me. Oh, there's me screaming and shouting. I actually think maybe this might not be the best video to show it. In fact, I should show for the purposes of this video, it's probably better to show the full live stream. Okay. Let's do that.
Finally got some arrows again.
So here we are. Here we are. Right. So, and I just think this. I mean, the rain. Lynch and I had discussed this when I was playing at the time, but the rain still doesn't look like fascinatingly well done. But the actual like the 60 FPS, the like, oh my gosh. Mwah, mwah. So I do want to get more into this. We did a poll in the Discord actually as to what I'm going to play after I finish Indiana Jones, which I'm going to discuss a little bit in a moment as well. But
Whoa, leave me alone.
Breath of the Wild was one of those options that didn't win. God of War won. So God of War will be the next game after Indy for us to play, for us to look at, for us to get into. So yeah, but you can see it looks so much better, so much like smoother, and I'm really excited to get into it more. And actually, I think okay, Peralta, like let's calm down. I'm kind of really interested to see.
It's right ahead.
Like he's confused me. My old me's confused me. I think what I'm gonna mute myself. I think what I'm interested in actually, I keep saying the wrong thing because of me. How can past me give me this much of a like brain fart? What I think has actually benefited me is that I get to experience sort of Breath of the Wild to a higher level of like pedigree almost, and I'm kind of happy that I've waited as long so that I get to experience it in this kind of upgraded version, so to speak. So yeah, I'm really excited to get into more of that, and I finally got my words out, so that's always a win as well. So that's Legend of Zelda. Breath of the Wild, very fun game, just one that I've always kept missing, so we'll get around to it. Anyway, the next one was one of the demos released as part of this whole big month of gaming. There was a lot of demos. I forget what it was called, but I forget what the kind of initiative is called, but there's loads of demos that were coming out, and one that I've been interested in for a little bit is Dispatch. So Dispatch is essentially kind of like a narrative, kind of Telltale-esque game where you play a dispatcher for heroes, and actually what you end up with is basically a Suicide Squad team. So I'm actually really interested in playing this game, obviously, because I played the demo, but the gameplay style of it being like you're not a regular person, but you're a regular person looking after this superhero team, and they're actually like assholes, basically, is like this perfect concept in my head, and I'm really I'm interested to see how this gameplay advances, see how the story shapes up. I mean, if you look at the trailer right at the end of this, like there's a little bit of a trailer for what's happening next.
A superhero with no superpowers. Can't wait.
Oh, that might be DMCable music. We've got to turn that back off. But yeah, so very I was like, oh no! Actually, to be fair, if I mute it, we can probably watch some more. But it also, I love the art style of this one. I think it's giving I haven't watched Invincible, which is probably a mistake on my part. I will watch it eventually, I promise. But it looks kind of that Invincible style mixed with kind of like, I don't know, like anime-esque style to a degree. I really like it. It looks really smooth. It felt really smooth. And yeah, I again, not much more to say on that one. Obviously, looking forward to the game coming out. I've already made a playlist for it. Where is it? Dispatch playthrough. Waiting for the rest of the game to come out so I can add to that playthrough list. But yeah, so there's that one. And then Indiana Jones. I'm not going to put one of the streams on, but as you can see, there's a lot of Indiana Jones popping up this month. This game's been out for like 7 months now, and I still haven't finished it. So I'm really pushing towards it. At this point, on this episode, so many circles, it's a Venn diagram in Indiana Jones. I am at the point of nearly finishing Siam by the end of this stream. I'm pretty sure. So Siam is the second to last zone. So once I get done with that, I'm pretty much in the end game, so to speak. So hopefully we can get this done soon. But what's also kind of stopping me a little bit is that we're on episode 48 of Pride of Game Pass, because obviously I've been blitzing through the episodes, as you can see here. So I want 50 to be sort of special in a way. I want it to be something like gripping, or like a game that like is really, really like interesting, or like not even maybe just that, but like being able to reference that within the video. And I don't want it to just be like a random stream, if you know what I mean. So I'm trying to think of how best to do it. Do I do just one big stream to finish Indeed, that's episode like 49, and do like a really long stream? and then do episode 50, or do I do episode 49 as indie and then do episode 50 and make it indie, but like make it like, you know, worthwhile talking about, if that makes sense. So just so I can kind of acknowledge the fact that we've got 50 episodes. That's a year. Like so Pride of Game Pass and Late to the Party. I can move my chair 1 second. I've unlocked my chair somehow. 1 second. There we go. It was gonna I was gonna lean back and I was just gonna go. So that would not have been good. That would not have been a look. Anyway, so Pride of Game Pass and Late to the Party have been around basically since the start of the channel, but I stopped them for a bit and then brought them back. But since the reboot of them, and hence the R on the end of the numbers on each episode, E48R. Since then, it's been about it's been fortnightly, so each episode takes a turn, and I changed it a little bit since then because I've moved towards a format where I do get edited videos. As you can see here, this is the Late to the Party normal, this is Late to the Party extended, and you can see that elsewhere as well, extended, etc. And Pride of Game Pass hasn't really been getting that treatment because I've been kind of pushing indie a little bit more, and I started that on Pride of Game Pass, so I want to finish it on Pride of Game Pass. But I guess what I'm getting at here is that 50 is basically a year's worth of videos, right? 52 weeks in a year. So if I was to do one Pride of Game Pass stream a week, that would be a year's worth. So I want to make it special, is what I'm trying to get across. So we'll do that, basically, at some point. I'll work out how I'm going to do it, but I will make it special. Even if it ends up being that 51 is the special episode, so to speak. I don't know. We'll work it out. We'll work it out. Anyway, next up, back to the Switch 2 here with Mario Kart. Back to the Switch 2 with Mario Kart. And me, Lynch, Magus, Jaybird, and I don't know why I've said it in this order, by the way. Me, Lynch, and Jaybird, and Magus and Vegas have played Mario Kart, and this was my first time playing it with friends. And I have to say, it was quite fun. I lost basically every match. But it was really fun to get into like what the Switch 2 can really provide and seeing how they've really innovated on Mario Kart this time around. And I have to say, I think having 24 people is both the craziest thing they've done, because it's like, it can be painful. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, it's like, it's kind of fun. And there's a mode now where you can basically, and we do it later on in the stream, where essentially it's a knockout and you have to be 20th or better to like get to the next, like the next part of the race, and you're racing across basically the whole continent, so to speak. And you know, if you don't do it, then you're going to get knocked out. Like, so here, be 8th or better. I was 12th. I think I did get knocked out here. Yeah. So I got knocked out because I didn't get to 8th in time. So I actually really like that concept, and I think just the idea of it being a full world that you can go around and interact with and kind of go through was really fun as a concept. So I definitely would want to play more of this. I'm not a big Mario Kart person by nature, though. And what I mean by that is I got Mario Kart because it came with Switch 2. I don't think I would have got it if it didn't, if that makes sense. If there was another flagship game that had come out with the console and then Mario Kart was there, I'd have been like, meh, or like otherwise, like, you know? Like, for example, there's that new Donkey Kong game, Donkey Kong Bonanza, that is just being announced. Well, not announced, but I think people were aware of it, but it's being kind of revealed. And I actually think I would have, like, I want to play that. So if that was like one that had come out with the console, because it was only a month, it's only like going to be a month, 2 months after release of the actual. If I'd waited, basically, I would have got that probably with my console. If that ended up being a bundle. Am I making sense? I think I'm making sense. Maybe, I don't know. I'm going to shut up. So so we played a lot of new games this month, as you guys can really tell. Pico Park. Now, if you guys can cast your minds back. When we did Yakuza-thon, there was stretch goals, and one of the stretch goals was for us to play Pico Park because Tater had talked about it a lot, and so we did. We ended up playing Pico Park, and I'm going to mute this one because it's got a lot of swearing in it. But as you can see here, Peralta, myself, I don't know why I said my own name, me, Entropy, Lily, otherwise known as Elvish Nature, Nate, and Tater came together to play this, and it was both an insane laugh, and by the end we were like fighting with each other, like calling each other idiots and all sorts. So it was a fun time. I think this is probably one of the most hilarity-inducing games I've ever played, and the most rage-inducing games I've ever played. And there's a Pico Park 2, and I have also already said that I will refuse to play it, because that's how bad this got in the end. We were calling each other all the names under the sun. So, with that said, for it being a relatively simple gaming concept, it was actually very fun. And you know what? Maybe like way down the line I'd play it too. Maybe, I don't know. But not anytime soon, because this nearly broke friendships. I could see how it would break friendships. And yeah, I don't really know if I have much more to say on this one, other than thanks, Tater, for absolutely ruining friendships, basically. Like, I will say we did actually finish the full game. It took us 4.5 hours, but we finished the full game. And I think that's quite a feat, actually. Because apparently when some of the others had played it the first time round, because they played it before and thus why they wanted me to play it, was they had actually took about double this time to get close to finishing. So I take that as a win, a complete win. And yeah, this level, the end level, we were all delirious by the end and all stressed to death. So if you want to go and watch some absolutely hilarity-inducing content, that is the one. That's my recommended one to you guys. Next up, I've been doing a lot of collabs this month, as you guys can see as well. So obviously we've had Tater on a lot. We've had Magus and Lynch. We've had Lily, Nate, and Entropy. And then for this one, Elden Ring Night Rain, we had... One second, let me just jump it up to... We had Accursed and Finn join us for this one. So Finn, of course, has been a long-time member of the channel and a good friend. And Accursed, whilst a newer friend, still a good friend as well. And they're both big Souls-like people. And so I basically said to them, hey, guys that like Souls-likes, do you want to like come and watch me be bad at it? And I was exceedingly bad, funnily enough. Not too bad. We did actually end up beating, let me have a look. We did end up beating the first boss of Night Rain, this Gladius, Beast of Night. So I'm pretty proud of that personally, and I actually did really enjoy hanging out with these guys, and they're both pretty chill as people, so it wasn't like super like stressful. And I was allowed to kind of be silly and stupid and kind of learn. And I was apologizing a lot and also just shrugging my shoulders a lot because I didn't know what they were talking about. But yeah, it was a fun experience, and I would definitely play it again. I think we're going to look at playing again at some point. I do need to play more Souls-likes. I've said about it a lot. It's just I'm trying to get through this so many backlog. Like the gaming backlog never ends. I think everyone knows that. Welcome in, Magus, by the way. Hope you're doing well. Everyone knows that the gaming backlog never ends. I was apologizing a lot. A go-to co-op game experience. That is so true, Magus. It really is. But yeah, I was apologizing a lot. I was struggling a lot. But you know what? I did enjoy it, and I will go back to it, and we will play more. And I will play more Souls-likes in the future, even though those ones rely solely on my skill. And as we know, I have very little skill in general. So that was Night Rain. And as you can see by the thumbnail, the thumbnail there, I'm terrible at this game. That was true. That was true. It wasn't just. It's not even clickbait. It's true. And then a video that popped off for absolutely no reason. Well, I think it's because it's not going to be as covered as other games. Is Marvel Mystic Mayhem, which is a brand new mobile game. Which again, I don't cover mobile games a lot, but I did decide this time I wanted to cover this one. And essentially, it is about Nightmare trying to take over the world. And you're playing, and I didn't think about where I was placing the camera much in this one, but it was Marvel. It's Marvel. But essentially, there's like cool characters in this one. You've got Misty Knight, you've got Sleepwalker, who's like this new. I don't know whether he's a new character or just a new like a lesser known character. And Hulk, and like you collect more as you go, like any kind of hero collector. And this one is more. It's a little bit idle, but like you're using skills and placing them on the board, and basically it's a little auto chessy. But with a little bit more a few active steps during the combat. They do have some cool mechanics, like here where you've got you've got characters who will use. So Iron Man will be able to attack these physical weakness, and then Storm could attack these magical weakness ones. And to be fair, I don't find this game to be super pay to win. Not saying that there's some bundles in there that they're trying to get you to buy, definitely. But
events.
But you know, you get a lot of the characters pretty easily. I think at this point, and I bought Angela on stream, which was about 87 pence. But other than that, I think I have gotten every character. I've got like not 20, maybe 18 of 26 characters in the game so far. And I definitely want to play more because I feel like everyone kind of enjoyed the stream actually. But yeah, there's loads of cool characters in here as well. You've got, like I say, Angela. You've got Doppelganger here. You've got Lady Bullseye. You've got Dream Queen, which is the daughter of Nightmare. Yeah, Armor's in the game as well. There's Dream Queen there.
Daughter of Nightmare, as ambitious
as there you go. Exactly as I said. And yeah, so you've got...
Any more?
Did I get anyone cool in this?
Okay.
We're pulling them here. And... Nope. We're going to get anything... No, but essentially trying to build the kits and trying to see what you could do with these characters was really fun. It's like, so I've played Marvel Strike Force for like 6 or 7 years at this point, however long it's been going for. And that game kind of railroads you into progression. This game gives you options. You can change things up. You can add different artifacts to people. You can, within reason, you can change how they work. And I kind of really like that as a concept. They have, you know, kind of a roguelite mode in the game. They have different modes like any of these games have. But what I think I actually really like the most about this game is the fact I don't have to play it loads. You know, I can log into this game as opposed to some other mobile games. I can log into this game maybe once a day, and I can do all my stuff and just move on with my life. Like, I want to be able to do that on occasion. Some mobile games are so involved that you just get, like, so blindsided to it that you have to, like, kind of continue playing it all the time. And it can really detriment not just your gaming time in general, because you know you're playing a mobile game as opposed to maybe playing a larger game, but also that it can affect your social relationships in some instances. I know that from experience. So these games can be very addictive. So trying not to fall into that is hard sometimes. And this game allows you to kind of not do that, because it has a point where it goes, you're basically done for the day, dude, and move on. Issue with RPG gachas is there can be a meta change character releasing that needs to be gotten to clear content later on. Ref, FF, Brave Exvius, and Dragala lost an FF Opera Omnia. Do you know what? You're right. You are right. Most games will eventually drop a character that is just kind of must have. I suppose it depends on how you do it. Because if you could unlock those characters anyway, so Angela, for example, you could buy her from the off for 87 pence, but I actually pulled her from the key openings, which I just showed you before. Here, I pulled her like the next day as well. So like it was just basically a sure that I got her. But not that like for these types of games that's normal. Not that would be acceptable in like, you know, a bigger game, but it's for these types of games I think that's normal. And actually I think they don't force it on you. They don't make you feel like you have to spend. I've spent because I kind of already enjoyed the game, and like, yeah, look, straight away there I got Swamp Thing. So I personally feel like I'm okay with this one so far. Yeah, it is a little bit pay to win, but I feel like a lot of these games just are. And it's not saying that that's acceptable. I do feel like they should be moving in a direction of stopping that as much as possible, but it's how these games thrive. So, you know, we'll see how this game pans out, whether it survives. There's been games that have come up before for Marvel mobile-wise, and they did end up kind of tanking relatively quickly. So we'll see. but this one's for NetEase, who people are kind of enjoying at the moment. NetEase is kind of big at the moment. They've got the Marvel Rivals hype, but also they've got a single player game they're working on as well. So this kind of might ride by as like something that people are generally accepting of to a degree. A free to play game, so they need ways to make money. That's the toss up, right, Megas? That's always the toss up with these ones. So it's a little bit of a shame, but what can you do? Anyway, right, that is the end of that one, and that kind of brings us up to speed. Apart from this one, which I'm not going to click on because it's members first, so I won't even be able to click on it. But finally back to the Borderlands featuring Genre. So Genre has joined me this month as well to play a Borderlands. Now, if you guys remember, I had a computer that I was struggling with a few months back, and when I was struggling with it, I was playing Borderlands, and my game actually crashed, and because it crashed, whilst I was playing, I lost my save. And I'm a person who, when that kind of happens, I lose motivation for a game. I don't want to grind all the same stuff again. So, luck would have it, Genre was talking in the Discord about wanting to play through the Borderlands games, and, well, it worked out. So, essentially, and I've realized that thumbnail is the wrong thumbnail now, but essentially, we are going to be playing through the Borderlands games. It might take a while for us to get through most of them. There's quite a few, as we know. But yeah, we'll be playing through those in kind of timeline order. So that's pretty interesting. Well, I maybe not exactly timeline order. I don't know, like the best order, basically, whatever the best order is. So that is it for kind of what I've been doing this month. But of course, we have a lot more to discuss. Let me pull up my list of trailers for the month, because there's been quite a few trailers that I want us to have a look at. So let's go into PP editorial in my Discord. First up, we're going to look at Witcher 4. Let's get that up. 1 second. Witcher 4. Unreal Engine 5 tech demo. So what we have to take into account here straight away is that a tech demo is not indicative of an actual game. But with that said, this looked fascinating when they were showing it on live stream, and I think it's worth looking at. So let's move a little bit ahead. And like instantly here you can see kind of the physics involved with this engine, the tech already. And you got was it Manticore, I believe, in the trailer? Was it? Or was it something else? I forget. That was a Griffin. Or a Manticore, I forget. I forget. Yeah. But yeah, so there's that little bit. And you've got Ciri here herself. And this is Lanexeter, which is a place we haven't been to in the games as yet. And I don't know if I've kind of let you guys know about my Witcher experience, but I played The Witcher, well, tried playing The Witcher 1, played through Witcher 2 and 3, and loved both of those games. The one was a struggle. I've really loved both of those games, and then I read all the books in anticipation of the Netflix show, loved the first season of the Netflix show, hated the second, and I haven't even watched any of the other Witcher stuff on Netflix. I don't even know if they've released season 3. Is it season 3 or season 4 they're on now? Either way, I haven't watched it because they ruined it for me. And I don't usually say that, but they really ruined the source material for me, and it's just clear they weren't interested in it. But so Witcher is like something that's pretty close to my heart. I have Witcher board games. I have Witcher, the Witcher Ronin manga. So like I love The Witcher. So this to me is something I'm very excited in kind of playing through. And when you see,
We're here to show you what's
let me get into the actual Yeah.
This is a technological showcase set in the world of The Witcher 4. What you just saw and are going to see now is running on a standard PlayStation 5 at 60 FPS with ray tracing. So in the game, you'll be playing as Ciri, a professional monster slayer, a witcher. She explores the world and hunts down monsters for coin.
And it just looks
The
so
region
good.
we're in
And again,
is called Kovir,
to clarify,
and you'll get to explore it in a game.
like,
Right now, Ciri's investigating.
once again, to clarify, this, of course, is a demo, so this might not look exactly like this they're tuning this area up specifically.
The
But
monster, and after gathering new clues, she is heading back to a nearby village.
when they show this village, I had actual goosebumps. Like, insane goosebumps.
All right, everyone, meet Kelpie.
Yeah, Kelpie.
Let weeds be weeds, Kelpie.
So just like Geralt and Roach, Ciri has her own loyal companion.
We return to town.
These two
She's so
characters
gorgeous.
used to feel like one. Since you're gonna explore the world on horseback, riding these to feel seamless, natural, and just fun.
Yeah, and to support that, we're
I just look.
introducing
Do you know what I love as well? The
multiple
color palette here. The fact that you've got these red mountains, but you've got the blue kind of coming down into them. It gives Bob Ross painting.
character motion
It's
matching
giving
in
Bob Ross
Unreal.
painting to me.
So Ciri and Kelpie, they're perfectly synchronized when mounting from any angle and speed. And we also support root motion movement on Kelpie, so controlling her feels realistic and grounded.
It's insane what games
And
can
also
do these
some really
days, though,
nice
isn't it?
improvements
Like,
to our
again,
Unreal Chaos
demo,
Flesh Solver.
but
and these machine-learned
yeah,
deformations.
this was
So you've got
fascinating to
realistic
watch.
muscles moving and stretching under Kelpie's skin without compromising the performance there.
Like, wow.
So let's leave Ciri behind for a second and talk about the world itself. So much of the Witcher world is natural, organic, especially Kovir with its dense forest and wild nature.
Yeah, and wild nature is hard. And with nanite geometry, we've freed artists from so many of their old constraints. But we don't want to rest until everything we do in Unreal has that same spirit of freedom. There's always more work to do. And foliage is a huge piece of that
It's such a small part
So we
of
are
gaming.
excited to introduce
Like, not
nanite
fully,
foliage.
but like these nitty gritty details of
And
like
in
of the
order to
world,
achieve
right?
Gorgeous
But,
foliage
like,
density everywhere, while
you
still
feel like
being
you're there.
efficient, fast to
That looks like
render,
that looks like a
we believe that a new
photo,
idea was
nearly.
needed. So instead of the same card approach we've been using for the past 20 years, artists should be free to take a nanite approach to foliage, modeling every single leaf and pine needle. And the old LOD tricks of the past, they needed a complete rethink. And in their place, it's a new adaptive voxel representation in nanite. It's volumetric, it's fully 3D, it is super fast to render. And these dense clusters of triangles turn into these cubes, which at a distance, they're no larger than a pixel, and they react to the changing light of our dynamic sun and our shadows, and they allow
Like,
artists to render whatever amount of foliage is
And this
needed
isn't usually something that
to
like
achieve their
I love a
vision
game looking
without
good, but I don't usually
And
care about the
no
nitty gritty of it.
compromise how
Again, I don't really
ambitious we
care
are
about what
when it
they're
comes to
doing to
bringing
make that
our
world
vision
look
to
good,
life
but
with
the way they're
incredible
explaining
visuals.
this, it's like
But more
games
than
are just
that,
becoming
together
so
with Epic, we created faster
infinitely
ways
more
around the world.
real,
We can now
right?
bring in more
I just
content,
saw a
more
comment
people.
actually from I forget his name. Is it Kojima? Regards Death Stranding 2, and that he feels like he's getting closer and closer to the fidelity he wants for certain skin types and stuff like that. And I was like, this is where we're at. We're looking at skin type for games. Like, that's where we're at. People are so adamant to get like skin correcting in a game and make it look real and make it look like it's actually attached to a human form. Like, it's fascinating to me.
Quickly for the smoothest possible experience.
It actually
as we
is.
Slide down to catch up.
And
with
this,
Ciri.
yeah. When they come
Welcome
into
to
this,
Valdrest.
when they come into Valdrest here,
is
it's like,
Fort
wow.
A hub for fishing, trade, and mining. It's one of those places where you can meet shady characters or overhear gossip from other lands. It's also where Ciri took on her current contract. High-tech, let's leave Kelpie here and explore the marketplace and food.
And the missus?
I'm so excited we can finally show you some of this stuff.
Just the colors again,
Let's see
man.
what Valdres has to offer.
Bugger. Not her again.
Not even at the Land Exeter Fair! Now, 9 gazes while I present him with a fish. For the furry rascal will often wink, and a bear's weight grants good fortune.
I just...
Pardon.
Guys, notice how responsive the world is. Character actions directly affect what happens around you, sometimes even setting off chain reactions. Everything is working together. Oh, look at this poor gentleman being taught how to fly by an angry innkeeper. That's what happens when you cheat at Gwent.
I don't even think I need to say anymore. This looks great. I'm really excited for Witcher 4. I'm basically going to have to do a run through of all the other games. I'm so excited to see more of it. Like, I can't even say more than that. But that's Witcher 4. I'm very excited to see more. So that's Witcher 4. Let's move on to the next one, which is Ghost of Yotei. Now, I only saw snippets of this trailer the last time it was shown. So let's have a look at that. Where was the trailer from? It was there before. I'm sure there was a new trailer. Yeah, this one must be this one.
You're still with me?
Is this a date that it was being given? I think that might have been it. Oh no, coming in July. Okay, right. So I was wrong about what I'm talking about here. It happens sometimes. I put stuff on the list and sometimes I don't fully check it because I don't have the time. So gameplay deep dive coming in July. We'll probably come back to this then. We'll probably come back to it. But Yotei, I'm really excited for. I played Tsushima not long ago and I actually really enjoyed it. Thanks to Finn for letting me know about how great Tsushima actually is. And yeah, we'll continue on with Yotei next month then. So that was a little bit of a mistake on my part. Apologies on that one. So we're going to have 007 First Light. Now, so before I do this one, this is very similar to the Indiana Jones situation for me. Indiana Jones situation for me. Because I had never watched an Indiana Jones movie ahead of playing the Indiana Jones game. So I watched movie 1 and 2, started 3, still haven't finished 3, which is bad. But to play it because I wanted to kind of get into the lore of the universe. And then they announced this, 007 First Light, and I've played Hitman, so that's IO Interactive is making this game, so I'm interested instantly. I've really enjoyed Hitman as a set of games, and but I've never watched a James Bond movie, so I do feel like I'm going to have to watch a number of James Bond movies to kind of get the references in the movie, to get like the game, to get a reference, like the sense of what the James Bond universe is like ahead of playing this. Even though, as you guys are going to see now, this game seems to be starting its own kind of universe.
His parents cut their own rope to save him.
I'm going to hold my drink whilst I wait.
Fall, then found his way off that mountain. He was 11 years old.
He then started a grand tour of every major boarding school in Britain.
Always at the top of his class.
Always at odds with authority. Same thing in the Navy.
His superiors all praise his instincts.
And they're all in need of early retirement. Nobody knows what to do with him, Mom.
No. And I suspect he feels the same way. But what he did in Iceland...
What he did.
This trailer looks stunning, by the way.
Insubordination. It was
Like, very, very well put together.
He only survived thanks to blind luck. Give me one good reason to put him in the program, Mom.
I think you just covered them all, Greenway. It's really quite simple. Bond is a bullet without a target. Let's give him one.
Do you have an appointment?
The name's Bond.
James Bond. He's with me.
And you are? Don't think we've had the pleasure.
Now let's not get ahead of ourselves, James.
I actually just think it looks really cool.
Shouldn't have.
I don't know how to describe it other than that. I think it's going to be fun. You know, Hitman had such great missions. I can't see this not being the same.
All my pieces on the board.
009 is...
I mean, you're seeing it here, actually.
Whatever the end game is, we won't see it coming.
Jet lag. Gets me every time.
She's not your friend, Bond. She's an asset.
With respect, Mom. To hell with that.
Some car gameplay is kind of a cool thing, because that's never something that Hitman never really did. So it'll be interesting to see that a little bit. See how IoT like does that.
Headhunting.
Looks like you've got to really be going across the world as well. Which, not that Hitman didn't do that, but... That music's probably going to get me DMCA'd, so we'll just stop that there.
Moment.
Yeah. Looks really cool. I actually really like this look for Bond as well. They've went with like something that doesn't evoke really any of the other actors, like, but it gives Bond, if that makes sense. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this game plays out in 2026. So still a while away yet, but we'll get around to it eventually. So I have time to watch all those movies. Might even do a watch party in the Discord. Who knows? So yeah, that is that for now. Let us leave James Bond and move on to Deadpool VR. Now, I don't own a VR system, but that could change with this one. I do have some other Star Wars ones that I do want to play at some point as well, so that could potentially be another reason to get it. But Deadpool VR.
Ooh, Red Band trailer. Hell yeah. Handcrafted with cuddles by the Merc with a MetaQuest. Kick back and bask in the glory of gaming's first quintuple A tropical farming sim experience.
That's gonna get me.
Friend.
I should actually mute the trailer. I forgot they used, again, DMCA-able music. Yeah. I realized the next second. So anyway, I can't show you all the quips as a result, but I'm actually thinking this game looks pretty fun. To be fair, you've got some X-Men villains. You've got Omega Red later on in the trailer. I think that was whatchamacallit, the hand there as well. It looks like. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, I think it's actually a very cool way of bringing Deadpool back to gaming. Making it something where you're kind of doing all the ludicrous stuff with him. I think some of it looks a little shoddy is maybe the wrong word. Maybe the right word, but it looks a little like here. I understand it's because it's meant to be through your eyes, but the way Omega Red pulls him in looks a little weird to me. But yeah. Anyway, that's it's a pretty cool idea. I think I'm on board with it. I agree with it. I might have to get an Oculus Quest or whatever it was called. I forget its name. Jurassic World Evolution 3 is the next one. I feel like they're churning these games out like I don't know what. And don't get me wrong, I'm interested to see what they're doing with it, because they seem to really innovate well on these games each time they do them, but I always buy these games and I don't play them. Like, and it's just because I don't have the time to sit and build a theme park anymore. You know? I want to, but I don't. But, like, it looks like they've given the dinosaurs a lot more, like, personality and life this time around.
Welcome to the Dinosaur Integration Network, or DIN for short. Our organization brings groundbreaking, sustainable breeding programs to a global clientele of demanding site owners.
Like, this looks really cool.
We are taking paleo-curation into exciting new territory. Where previous pioneers exclusively synthesized female dinosaurs, we are also creating males. These animals aren't assets to us, but the beginning of a new evolution. And do keep an eye on the young dinosaurs. They can inherit more than just appearances. Every site must be a perfect balance of security and spectacle. Protecting our guests is crucial, but so is inspiring the next generation.
See what I mean though? This game looks so like... It looks like it's just gotten better, you know?
As with any project of this scale, not everything will go according to plan. As the park manager, you'll also need to assess emerging situations and get them under control. It won't be easy, but that's why we're hiring the best. DIN is here to make a difference. Now, I'm sure you have plenty of questions, but please...
Caution, gate opening.
Dun, dun.
This is your first and final warning. DIN must not continue.
Oh, kind of, isn't that DMCA music? This is the struggles of doing trailer reactions. 21st of October, pre-ordered now. I haven't pre-ordered yet, but I might be interested. You potentially interest me to it. You could potentially interest me to it. So we might be playing this. We might be playing this. So keep an eye out for that one as well, guys. That is the next one on our list. After that, we have Stranger Than Heaven. Now, you guys know I've only played one Yakuza so far, but I did like the look of this game. It's made by the same people who make Yakuza. And yeah, let's just watch it. Let's see what you guys think, because I actually think it looked really cool. And I like the setting
18
a lot.
I pray with a song in my heart. Ever since we've been alone,
Like, this setting looks just really cool from the off. And it looks really pretty too, actually. Once he gets up the stairs, because right now it's just a black screen. But yeah, the look of the city here. It's giving a little bit of cyberpunk. It's not, but it's giving that, you know what I mean? It's not cyberpunk, but it is giving that a little bit. And then at the same time, like, very traditional look. In a way that's, like, really interesting. It looks like it's a little bit more mystical. Finn and I were talking about this. That it looked a little bit more like there's a few kind of mystical elements to this one. And some options as well, which is always good. I like a game where they start giving you a little bit of a, like, divergent story.
Mako, Daito. Daito.
A Jap then, huh?
I don't know why it's got a French subtitles, but there you go.
You're not? So, what are you then?
Sana. 俺が知りてえや。
It's giving all Hollywood at the same time as well, which I really like. I've been watching the studio, and that kind of gives that vibe. I don't know why, but it does. So I'm really interested to see what that brings when that releases. I don't know. I don't know when. I don't think it's they've given a date for it yet, but it did look cool. It did look cool. And then we have two more. We have Blood Message, which is the NetEase game I was telling you guys about. Again, looks incredibly stunning, actually.
大唐还在的时候，丝路上的灯火从西域一直亮到长安。
I haven't actually watched this trailer fully. I've just seen like images from it, etc. So we're watching it together for the first time, essentially.
大唐离我们太远了，神佛还会庇佑河西吗？
我是认真决定的，
我还是想再试一次。今日我们所流的血，是为了把大唐带回来。我们必须在破城之前把安宁带出来。
It's giving me a lot of like Assassin's Creed vibes to me. Not that it's necessarily that, but it is giving that kind of vibe.
安宁，等着我。安宁，安宁。
阿爷，我将追随杀出一举。
去长安，你这是让他们去送死！
Like, look at these landscapes. Wow.
输赢成败，皆如沙上之大，风来即散，为众生之苦，长漫于天地之间。回家吧，这一切毫无意义。
天命所归。
Oh, damn.
我才是大唐。
The combat is very similar, in my eyes, to well, not entirely similar in terms of style of combat, but in terms of like the visual aspect of it, to Ghost of Tsushima as well.
没有我的帮助，你走不出这片沙漠。
I just feel like it's showing me the whole game currently, though. I will say that. Anyone else feel like that a little bit? Not that that necessarily means I wouldn't play it, but I want to know less sometimes.
那就让我来。
阿宁，等着我。是对信使，每个人都做好了有去无回的打算。
Pretty cool. There's something beneath. Very cool visual, that actually. But yeah, that was Blood Message coming to PC and consoles. Yeah, looked really cool. And then last but not least, we have Blood of Dawnwalker. Well, actually, I do have some more after this, but Blood of Dawnwalker. Because this looks really cool, actually. Not my typical sort of game either.
Monsters have always been here. Watching from the shadows. And when we were at our weakest, they came out into the light.
So it's all vampire based, this one.
We should have feared for our souls.
Do you know what? To clarify, I've watched maybe like I've never played Castlevania, but I've watched a little bit of Castlevania. Would you call it an anime? I suppose you call it an anime. And it's giving a little bit of that.
The vampires didn't come to kill us. No, they came to rule. To turn us into mindless, docile cattle.
Obviously not exactly the same, but it has some of those kind of sentiments.
They tried to change me into one of them. But I became something else instead. Their worst nightmare. Trapped between the two worlds. Fighting to even the score. Fighting to understand the evil behind it all.
He is out there watching, seeping into you, growing.
I think it looks pretty. Like what I like about it, again, I'll pause it. What I like about it is it's giving dark tones, but it doesn't look like a game that you're going to shit yourself scared of. You know what I mean? And I think that's like a win. I like games that have a little bit more of a dark, and sorry, I shivered there for some reason. I like games that have a little bit more of a dark tone, but aren't necessarily horror, right? I like that. So yeah, there's Blood of Dawnwalker. Coming 2026. Another fun game to keep an eye on. Probably come back and loop back around to this at some point. Now, as well, I will mention this just because it's shown up there. Xbox did announce their Xbox Ally. We might as well watch this quick. So like we've had the Switch 2 actually released, and then the Xbox Ally has been announced. This isn't probably something I'll get. I'm not gonna lie. I don't feel like I need it. But it's interesting that everyone's kind of going for this handheld meta at the moment. You know? I think for some people this could be, you know, a really interesting buy. And I actually do like the so don't get me wrong, I love my Steam Deck. I think this is a better design for a handheld console because that's the most comparable, you know, design. I kind of like the design of this one a little bit better. Talks out a bit like a grand for it, some serious leakers. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think it looks good, but I don't think I would pay that on top of. I don't think I'd pay that on top of my. I have a PS5, a Switch, a Steam Deck, and a computer, and I also have a laptop in case I ever need to use something else. I don't feel like I need another thing. And the only reason I have a PlayStation really is because of the exclusive games, and the same really with the Nintendo Switch. You know. So, but fair play to them. I think it looks good. If I didn't have anything else, and you know some people don't, I feel like some people would go for that. So fair play. So that is that as well. So that versus the Switch. Personally, I would go Switch, but that's me. You know, I could get that instead of a Steam Deck now down the line if the boyfriend stays interested in gaming. Yeah, exactly. That's like the potential in my head is if I didn't upgrade to the next Steam Deck down the line, if they had an Xbox Ally, then that's something I potentially could do. But I kind of like a Steam Deck. I like the idea of a Steam Deck. But yeah, I don't disagree with your idea there. And of course, there's always someone who does it. There's always a best viewers band. There we go. Okay, right. So where were we? We have one more to look at actually, because I did lie. We have two because it's a discussion point that I want. Like it wasn't just looking at the trailers, but Marvel Tekken Fighting Souls. So this game blew my mind, and I'm so excited for it. But there's a conversation to have around it as well. So let's have a look at this first. Marvel Tekken Souls. I love the designs for the characters in this game. I love the kind of Gundam take on, and I like kind of like anime take on these characters. And the colors, oh my days. Even the background just looks beautiful. And the fact that they have characters that aren't necessarily the most popular. You know, you have Miss Marvel. And Star-Lord. And whilst Ghost Rider himself is popular, they've went with Johnny Blaze here, which is, I think, I actually really like Johnny Blaze as a character because I love the idea of Ghost Rider using this big souped up hot rod. Is this like as like I just love that. I've always loved that. I said the wrong name. Johnny Blaze is the original Ghost Rider. I meant what's his name? What's his name? Oh, I'm lying to I got it wrong. It's not Johnny Blaze. Second Ghost Rider. I'm gonna have to look this up. No, third Ghost Rider then. Every Ghost Rider ever. Right, 1 second, because I got his name wrong and it's annoying me because I know this. Because I kind of know this Ghost Rider better than the others. Robbie Reyes! Idiot. At least I caught it though. At least I didn't have people in the comments telling me that I was wrong. Robbie Reyes. I knew it because he's in. That's the version they used for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Anyway, Dr. Doom in the game as well is insane. Like they added all these characters and then they went like Doom. And this had me howling during the trailer. He just pulls out a fucking gun. He's just like bam. Doom's always strapped. And you just know they're going to add more characters down the line. But Storm in this looks amazing too. Like, that design eats. It's better than her design in Rivals. Yeah. Just looks amazing. So that's a big vibe. Now, the reason I bring this up is they also announced Invincible game. I don't know what it was actually called. Invincible Versus. I think this is incredibly bad luck on Invincible's part here. because this game, compared to what we've just seen, does not look like they give a little bit of like a. I'm going to move ahead because they give a kind of trailer that looks kind of like a game, like a it might be a story game. It's not.
No, Dad, not even close.
And I thought this looked cool at first. And I thought, oh, this might get me into Invincible finally. And then no. It basically was
I
that.
hoped you'd understand why I had to do this. Accept our rule or die.
I'd like to propose a third option.
I'm not your son anymore. I'm the guy who's going to throw you off this planet for good.
And here we see the gameplay, which is essentially what we just saw, but with essentially less pizzazz. Don't get me wrong, I think it looks clean. Can I clarify? I think it looks clean, but I think you have not a lot of visual difference between the characters in Invincible to make a game like this interesting, and also like not enough mechanically in my opinion. Like, look at the 8 characters you just saw in that game versus the 6 currently shown for this game, and it just doesn't feel. It feels kind of like Tokken blew this out of the water before this was even announced. I've just realized that this is probably DMCA-able music as well. I always remember, like, notice afterwards. But anyway, you get my point. You get my point. It just doesn't look like it's going to be anything insane, this one. And that's a shame, because I think an Invincible game could be interesting. But not for me, personally, this one. So, what's more to the point with both of these, though, is that DC is just absent from the gaming sphere at the moment. And I think Marvel is really capitalizing on that. Marvel is eating up the gaming sphere at the moment. You know, Mystic Mayhem's out. This is coming out. Rivals is still relatively dominating. And then they're cancelling games, you know, which we discussed a little bit last month. So I kind of think DC needs to buck up its ideas. They're bringing out a new mobile game soon, a DC Worlds Collide. That's a game that's been in development hell for about a year or two, maybe even longer. So that's worrying that DC's only showing at the moment. And I think they need to get their heads down and get some new games out. Especially like they've got Superman coming out now. They're into their new DCU. Let's get some games out. Let's pump something out. Let's make not pump it out in a bad way, like not make something shit, but let's make something that's fun. Let's make something that's good. So yeah, I think DC needs to book up its ideas and get in the game. But with that, actually, really, we're done. We've covered a lot of trailers today. We've sat for an hour and 15 minutes, which is a lot of time to be looking at trailers and discussing stuff. And I don't know what you guys think. I don't know whether you guys sort of agree with the things I've said or whether you don't. And there's some games that I haven't even looked at. You know, Death Stranding 2 came out this month. That's something that I would be interested in looking at eventually. There was Resident Evil 9, which got a nice fake out during the Summer Game Fest. They were like, please wait a little bit longer to know about Resident Evil 9. And then they did the trailer right at the end, which was a really cool fake out. And I think everyone kind of loved that. Everyone liked this kind of thing. But I like, the thing is, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, if I haven't played a franchise up to a certain point to be able to understand it, I don't love covering it. So like, I've only played one Resident Evil, the first one. So talking about 9 feels disingenuous to me because I've not played the rest. So it doesn't feel like something I should be talking about. And sort of similarly with Death Stranding, I didn't play 1. I want to play them, but I haven't got around to it. And then as well, what's the other thing that's just come out recently? That I feel like I can't really talk about yet. There's another game. I can't remember. There is also Grounded 2, which I think at some point Nate wanted to play Grounded and then play Grounded 2. So we might be playing that at some point as well. I did play Grounded initially when it came out, so that might be something we look at down the line. But yeah, I think that's a decent roundup of everything that I'm kind of interested in and kind of wanted to talk about today. If you guys want to talk about anything else or want me to talk about anything else, let me know, and we could maybe include it in next month's. Until then, guys, as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you later. Those watching on Twitch, stick around. We'll probably be doing something else. Those watching on YouTube, this is the end of the video. Bye, guys.